Do we have a couple of chats? Yeah, we have a few chats. Okay, hold on a second. Hit me with a couple of chats, Goebbels.
There we go. Now I'm on. Okay,
all right.
So this one comes from Jay. What are your thoughts on Twitter and YouTube forcing companies to take down their videos on UV light studies and devices they're developing to combat COVID-19?
Well, I mean, is that a trick question? What do you think?
I know. You've been watching the show? Have you been watching the show?
Just repeat the question back to him.
Okay, here's one thing that I have to be very, very careful because I don't want to provide any misinformation. That being said, everyone here, you all know that we have a protocol that was given to us by a doctor with supplements that we take to try and protect ourselves and improve our immune system as best possible.
Dr. Phil, he's great.
Yes, Dr. Phil, he's great. Now, I don't want to dispense any medical advice, but I will say this. Research coronavirus, go search what receptors they attack, look at the mechanism of action, and see if there are any supplements out there that could potentially help you with it. PubMed is a great portal. Yeah. It's a great resource for you and talk with your doctor. There are things out there, but I can't say it at the risk of being banned. Now that being said, UV light, blood irradiation, which is where you would actually irradiate some blood with UV light and then re-inject it into the body so it gets carried around the entire bloodstream, is I think it was referred to as the antibiotic time forgot. So before antibiotics, they use this. There are clinical studies that have shown that it works in patients with hepatitis C, certain viruses. It reaches the clinical threshold for reducing the viral load. Now, and that's been done with many different viruses, and I'm not exactly sure infections entirely. We haven't done it on coronavirus. But the idea that getting UV light in any way into someone's blood as an effective mechanism of killing some kind of a pathogen is not new, it's not novel, and it's certainly not quackery. So the fact, now I'll tell you what is quackery. I'll tell you what is, let me be clear. It's not wrong. Blood irradiation has been a technique that has been used quite a bit for a very long time, okay? So it's not incorrect. I'll tell you what is incorrect. That coronavirus cannot be transmitted through human-to-human contact, which is what the World Health Organization tweeted out. So here's the problem. If we have to rely on the World Health Organization, and YouTube and Google and Facebook are going to be the arbiters of truth, and effectively with coronavirus, the World Health Organization is going to be their Snopes or their Washington Post, and they have verifiably gotten it wrong 1, 2, 3, 4 times. No doubt about it. They've gotten it wrong. That's a scary thing. Because we have to trust the authorities who we know are wrong, and their minions, their lackeys, their toadies won't allow us to get out any other information in the face of the World Health Organization. What do you do with that? Well, this is scary. And let me just one other thing. One other thing that really, really scares me here. With radio, okay? And I think we have this, we can bring it up as an overlay. Reg can send it to you. I got a complaint from someone in Germany that it was a violation of German law.
Oh, really?
To this effect. Yeah. So now we have China, the government of China, the government of Pakistan, and I don't know if this was the government of Germany. But back with radio, we used to have to deal with the FCC. Okay?
Right.
And it was kind of a game of cat and mouse where you could say, okay, crap head, but you can't say I took a crap. Silly rules, what we sort of would play, and I'd dance up to the line when it was syndicated on radio. And we thought, man, the beauty of new media is we won't have those kinds of censors anymore. We won't have to worry about the FCC. But at least with the FCC, you knew who your enemy was at that point. Now it's actually far worse because you are censored by the outrage mob. Cancel culture just means society at large is the new FCC, and they are far more stringent because you could get away with all kinds of jokes that might be offensive that the FCC didn't care about as long as you didn't say the naughty words, right? And the problem now, too, I would compare that. We've always been really concerned about our rights being taken away by government. Rightfully so, because historically, you look at the Church of England. Historically, you look at the Romans, you look at the Greeks, you look at the Ottomans, you look at governments. Those were the most powerful entities that had the ability to take away your rights. But now I see, just like with radio and the FCC, the mob is actually far more dangerous. What's far scarier to me than the government's ability to take away your rights is the mob's demand that they do so. Now, I'm not saying that all these people are Nazis. I want to be really clear. But when we often say, how could that happen? How could World War II, how could the Holocaust happen? Well, hold on a second. Is it that crazy of a leap to go from, officer, there's a mom with her son on the swing, get her, take her to jail, take her at gunpoint to jail. Is it that far of a leap from that to, Juden, officer, Jew, someone is in a park with their child and you are going to call the cops on them? That's what's scary to me now. Not that the government does it,
Right.
but that people demand it. The power of the mob is intensely terrifying to me.
It is, and you have to make sure that if you're somebody out there, you have to speak against those kind of things, right? You don't just sit by to the person who called the police and just let them get away with it. That's socially not okay. I don't care if you're trying to stop what you think is a 10% killer pandemic. Okay,
Right.
we have rights, we have liberty, and if we give that up in this case, it's going to be taken from us forcibly later on down the road for some other.
Well, the point is,
problem.
it's being taken right now by a mob of people.
It is.
Bring that up
There
there.
are Karens
if you can bring it up,
everywhere.
Gibbon. Yeah. So this was the tweet. Can you read the tweet? I can't exactly see what my tweet was, but this is an official complaint from someone in Germany.
Yeah, it says, "Hello, we have received a complaint regarding your account at Crowder for the following content."
The tweet. Yeah.
The tweet text is, it's becoming clear that scarier than the government's ability to take away your rights is the power of the mob to demand it.
Okay, and that was and then they said it wasn't in violation with German law, but typically that usually comes from an official when they recognize when they actually say it's not in violation of the law of this country. Which, by the way, Twitter, you can bring that down, is not a good enough standard. Twitter. I don't give a shit if it's a violation of German law, Chinese law, Pakistani law. You shouldn't be abiding by their laws.
No.
You should be abiding by the laws of the country that you founded. Because if your goal is to open up democracy and dialogue for everyone, you can't be beholden to China's law because guess what? They're murdering Hong Kong protesters, okay? Guess what? They're silencing and disappearing act whistleblowers. It's not enough to hide behind the law. You don't get to do that. You're an American company. That's the law you obey, dummies.